Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk about 12 strange things that happened at funerals and funeral traditions. Funerals don't necessarily have to be somber events. These memorials and traditions are heavy on quirk. Number 1. Miriam Banks. Miriam Banks was the life of the party, even at her own funeral. When she passed away in June, her daughters honoured her memory by recreating a party scene familiar to friends and loved ones. Instead of a coffin, the deceased sat at a table with a cigarette in her hand and her favourite beer and whiskey in front of her. The service also included R&B music and spinning disco balls. Number 2. Highway to Heaven. Billy Stanley was so ride or die about his 1967 Electra Glide cruiser that he spent the last years of his life planning his burial on the motorcycle. The unusual last rites involved buying 3 cemetery plots and designing a custom-made plexiglass casket. When the fateful day finally arrived last January, a team of 5 embalmers prepared Stanley for his final ride, mounting his body on the bike and dressing him in leather biking gear and a helmet. He led the procession to the cemetery. Number 3. Go out with a bump and grind. You only die once, so why not have a good time at your funeral, right? In Taiwan, some people hire strippers to appease wandering spirits and liven up the occasion. The dancers don't usually strip down to their birthday suits, but they're not shy about jumping on caskets or giving mourners lap dances. If families want a more buttoned-up service without sacrificing fun, they can hire all-female marching bands that emulate the jazz funerals popular in New Orleans. Number 4. Bela Lugosi. Actor Bela Lugosi made a name for himself playing Count Dracula in the original 1931 movie and several other horror movies. Alas, he struggled to get other parts later, saying, "I'd like to quit the supernatural roles and play just an interesting down-to-earth person." Wish granted. Well, maybe just the down-to-earth part. When Lugosi died of a heart attack in 1956, his son and third wife Lillian Arch buried him in the Dracula cape he used for appearances. Number 5. The end of the road. They say you can't take it with you, but that didn't stop George Swanson from being buried with his Corvette in 1994. Swanson's widow honoured his long, wonderful life by driving his cremains to the cemetery in her own sports car, putting the urn in the driver's seat and popping an Engelbert Humperdinck tape in the cassette player. Car enthusiasts might find the Corvette's death more tragic. The car only had 27,000 miles on the clock. Number 6. Funeral selfies are almost universally considered tacky, but what about the funeral live tweet? When publicist and Twitter addict Michael O'Connor Clark died of cancer in 2012, his friend Matthew Ingram decided to share an online play-by-play of the memorial service. Ingram lost a few followers along the way, but Clark's family in Ireland appreciated the gesture. I thought it would be fitting to live tweet Michael's funeral because of his interest in such things, but I also thought he would have seen the humour in it if he had been alive. Ingram later blogged, "I didn't count on seeing an additional benefit, however, which was the ability to share what was happening with others who couldn't attend." Number 7. Game over. No one really knows if there's life after death, but football can be arranged. The family of Pittsburgh Steelers superfan James Henry Smith transformed the funeral home with a small stage and furniture from Smith's living room. The deceased was placed in his favourite recliner, remote control in hand, and beer and cigarettes at his side, so he could comfortably watch a loop of Steelers football on TV. Number 8. Send in the clowns. Even if you ban black clothing and encourage a celebratory mood, funerals still tend to be sad. Some families in Europe call for reinforcements in the form of professional funeral clowns. The jokesters offer a menu of tricks, from squirting flowers to balloon animals, to respectfully lighting the mood. One Dutch clown can even be hired to break wind during particularly solemn and tedious parts of the memorial. Sounds fun, unless you're scared to death of clowns. Number 9. Strikeout. When Judy Sunday passed away in 2013, her family and friends preferred to bowl instead of ball. They held a memorial at her favourite bowling alley, where they spelled R.I.P. Judy in pins and then knocked them down with the dolly-mounted casket. And yes, they wore matching league shirts. Number 10. High and Mighty. Tupac Shakur's 1996 murder is still a mystery, but in 2011 his former rap group, the Young Outlaws, came clean about his controversial memorial service. They claimed that a picnic for family and friends honouring the deceased rapper. They mixed Tupac's cremains with marijuana, rolled joints and let their love and grief go up in smoke. Their inspiration? Lyrics from Tupac's song Black Jesus. Number 11. In some parts of Madagascar, it's a good thing when a deceased relative turns over in his or her grave. The Malagasy tradition of Fam Adahana, known as the turning of the bones, calls for regular unburying of the dead, in order to change their clothes, walk them around the village, and dance with their surviving loved ones. The corpses are then swaddled in clean blankets and put back to rest until the next family reunion. Finally, number 12, last but not least, amateur boxer Christopher Rivera Amaro of San Juan, Puerto Rico, was tragically killed before he could become a champion. To honour his brave spirit and unrealised potential, his survivors planned a wake in a makeshift boxing ring. Amaro's body was dressed in boxing trunks, a robe, and blue gloves, and placed in the corner of the ring, as if his fight were just beginning.